Welcome to the relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Very recently, news broke that Wasserman Promotions, helmed by Kale and Nisse Sarland, the Sarland brothers, have inked a deal with DAZN as a platform. Joe Markowski of DAZN stated, DAZN are proud to be teaming up with Wasserman Boxing, adding more big nights of boxing to our best-in-class schedule. Didn't Wasserman have a deal with Channel 5 over there in the UK? Don't know what the status of that deal is. Perhaps it's up, and the people at Wasserman were in the market for a new broadcast partner. As a result of that, Josh Kelly's next fight will be shown on DAZN next month, and on the undercard, we're going to be seeing unbeaten up-and-comer Chloe Watson versus Belén Valdebenito. Chloe Watson, an unbeaten up-and-comer we've talked about here on the channel once or twice. She's a Wasserman Promotions fighter, only 23 years old. Very young, very talented. Campaigning in the women's flyweight division. Flyweight, that's where Marlen Esparza reigns as that division's WBA and WBC champion. That's where Mexico's own Arely Mucino holds the IBF title. Argentina's own Gabriela Haneys, she's got the WBO, and that's where young Chloe Watson campaigns. That's where Chloe Watson's where she fights. That's where her next fight is set to take place, in the women's flyweight division. Chloe, being just 23 years old, is a ways out, at least for my money.
Yes.
She's a ways out from being ready to fight for an alphabet title. She's a ways out from fighting a Marlen Esparza, an Arely Mucino, a Gabriela Haneys.
Yes.
She needs more experience, more rounds in the bank before she's ready for a fight with a fighter like that. And that's what fights like these bring along fights, developmental fights.
That's the virtue.
Chloe being only 23 years old, there's no need to push her and no need to rush her into anything. That's the virtue of fights like this one, the fight with Laura Valdebenito.
Chloe Watson sports a professional record of 5 wins, no losses, no draws, no recorded knockouts, not yet, to Laura, who sports a professional record of 5 wins with 4 losses and 1 draw.
2 knockouts, more rounds in the bank, more pro experience than Chloe Watson, though not more talent, not as high a ceiling.
Chloe debuted as a professional in late 2021 in November.
Chloe only fought once that year and 3 times last year, 3 times in the year of 2022, and she's already seen action at least once this year in 2023, back in March.
3 months later, she's set to return to action opposite the ring Laura on the undercard of Josh Kelly's next fight.
And as stated, Chloe being so young, so talented, she needs these developmental fights. She needs to get in rounds in the bank, more rounds in the bank, before she's ready to take on a champion, to take on a Gabriela Haneys or an Arely Mucino.
She's going to be fighting Valdebenito,
who saw action 2 times last year and has already seen action 2 times this year, once in January, then again in February. She's coming off a knockout loss to Maria Baumstar.
So you see the angling.
Matching young Chloe against a fighter that's coming right off a knockout loss. Mitigating the risks while allowing Chloe to continue to develop. A very fast and athletic fighter. Aggressive.
Rapid-fire combinations, though not always accurate.
She's a mid-range fighter, and I think she needs to work on that. Work on better understanding her range to become more accurate over time. She's got fast hands and fast feet. Rapid-fire combinations, though they're not always on the button.
Not always accurate.
Nobody is. Not always, but you do want to improve on that so that when you land big. You land hard. It's one of those things that only experience.
Experience is the best teacher.
She's got the speed. She just needs to better judge the distance and show a little bit more variety.
Variety in her combinations, her shot selection.
She's a fun young fighter, an aggressive one, an action fighter, the kind of fighter to where there aren't that many quiet moments.
Because she's going to walk you down. She's going to come after you.
She fights at a fast pace, and I'm more or less confident that she can secure the W against Valdebenito.
The goal has to be getting in at least 3 to 4 fights for Chloe this year.
Banking rounds. Don't worry about alphabet titles. Don't worry about becoming a world champion this year. Chloe's only 23 going on 24 years old. She's got plenty of time, and what she needs to use it for is further developing as a fighter.
She's got time.
I think she's going to do all right against Valdebenito. The goal has to be keeping her busy, keeping her active this year, and now you will be able to see her moving forward on the DAZN platform.
Keep your eyes peeled for this on the undercard of Josh Kelly versus Cordo.
And we'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches. Men's lightweight and super lightweight news. Eddie Hearn on trying to re-sign Devin Haney. He says, Devin's very expensive. We would offer him Regis Prograrius.
It's not quite clear right now what Devin's going to do moving forward.
It's not.
Is he going to stay with Top Rank? Is he going to sign with somebody else?
I don't believe he signed a new contract with Top Rank, Hearn said of Haney in an interview with IFL TV. Devin is very expensive. He always has been. He's done a great job in that respect. I think in the past his purses haven't necessarily reflected his commercial value. But now, if you look at what he's done, he's earned the right for those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he's an undisputed champion now, and you can't pay him like he's a Rolly Romero or an Isaac Cruz.
When the people at Matchroom initially signed Devin Haney, they brought him over to the DAZN platform, and DAZN were throwing a lot of cash at a lot of fighters at that time in order to make a splash in the American market. As a result of that, Devin Haney was paid well in excess of what he was actually worth at that time, in excess of his market value.
At that time, because DAZN was still new in America, they were willing to overpay for fighters or overpay for fights in order to acquire talent and bring content to their platform.
But they have a better understanding of the American market now, and they're not just going to throw buckets of cash at just anybody.
Not anymore.
I think if we go to Devin now, we're going to him with the Regis Prograis fight. Obviously, you have the Ryan Garcia fight with DAZN, Golden Boy, and if you're Top Rank, you're saying we've got Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor perhaps. And if you're PBC, you're saying we've got Gervonta Davis, Rolly Romero.
It's only been a few days since the Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko fight, but I know of no approach from the people at Showtime and PBC to bring Devin over there.
Of no offer they've made to do a fight between either Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis or Devin Haney and Rolly Romero. Paulie Malignaggi speculated that Devin Haney, 2 days before the Lomachenko fight, re-signed to Top Rank. That's what he said.
And yo, I got one more little tidbit for you. I'll break it to you here. Bob re-signed Haney 2 nights before the fight. Okay?
No way.
2 nights before the fight.
Oh, that's crazy. I appreciate you, Paulie.
That bit of information has yet to be confirmed. We don't know that Devin is re-signed to Top Rank. We don't know that he hasn't. What we do know is that this was his final fight under the existing deal that he had with Top Rank.
Thus, Eddie Hearn suggests that Devin should stick to 2 fight deals. 2 fight deals as opposed to long-term agreements.
If Devin is a free agent at this time, he's got options and he's got wiggle room to go where he wants to go. It all depends on what he views as being a good deal, what he views as being realistic, more realistic than something else.
If I'm Devin Haney, I'll probably lean towards free agency, Hearn told IFL TV. It's a bit dangerous. He's undisputed at 135. If he moves up to 140, he's beltless. How it works in this game, they're going to want to tie you in.
The promoters are that if you want a Ryan Garcia or a Gervonta Davis, you know, you go to that side of the street, the people on that side of the street are going to want some form of a commitment.
Because he's a free agent.
If he is a free agent, it's not like the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight, you know.
No.
It's not like that because Ryan Garcia was and still is under contract with Golden Boy. So you can't get a commitment from him if you try to do a fight with him. Whereas Devin is set to be a free agent right now. So if he wants access to, say, top-rank fighters or PBC fighters, those promotional outfits might require a commitment from him.
Ahead of this past weekend's fight, Bob Arum said they might offer Devin Haney the winner of Lopez versus Taylor.
The Lomachenko fight having been the final fight of his existing deal, one can speculate that Top Rank would require a new commitment from Devin.
Yeah.
Another one. But if he wants further access to Top Rank fighters, he may have to enter into a new Top Rank deal. Paulie says he already did, but we can't really take it from Paulie without confirmation.
Devin says he wants a Gervonta Davis fight. He even said that he feels that fight could happen sooner than later.
Though I'm not convinced. I don't think the two teams, Team Davis and Team Haney, will see eye to eye in terms of the money, how they should split it. Gervonta Davis is going to assert his A-side status over Devin Haney.
Devin's not going to accept peanuts on the dollar.
If you're giving him a shot, they being the promoters, they're going to want you to sign a 5-fight deal. I think he should limit himself to 2-fight deals. Really, there are so many fights that he can take. Hearn had promoted Haney for 6 fights between 2019 and 2021, before Haney linked up with Top Rank to take on then unified champion George Kambosos. Haney has hinted that he expects to move up to the 140-pound division in his next fight. Hearn laid out a few scenarios that Haney could take, including a possible fight with one of Hearn's own fighters, newly signed 140-pound champion Regis Prograis.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Regis is a great fighter.
It's a dangerous fight for Devin Haney, a very dangerous fight. I don't think here today it yields the same commercial value that, say, Haney versus Lopez would. Haney versus Lopez could if Teofimo Lopez beats Josh Taylor.
Given the controversial nature of last weekend's outcome, I would curb my enthusiasm.
Many may be favoring Josh Taylor to beat Teofimo, given how Teofimo has been looking, but it's not a sure bet.
Even if Josh wins, he might lose.
Kind of like how most of us saw Jack Catterall win the Josh Taylor fight, but they gave it to Josh.
How most of us saw Vasil Lomachenko win last weekend's fight, but they gave it to Devin.
Josh Taylor, if he doesn't stop Teofimo, he might still do enough to win on the cards, but they might give it to Teofimo.
To set up a Haney fight.
If I'm him, I want to fight Rolando Rolly Romero for the WBA 140-pound title, Hearn said. He would just fancy that fight, and he would smash Rolly Romero.
Another guy that got a gift.
Where Devin Haney got a gift decision against Vasil Lomachenko the weekend before that, Rolly got a gift stoppage for punches he wasn't even landing.
Boxing can be ridiculous sometimes.
He's not going to be wanting the Shakur Stevenson fight. It's not that big, and it's a huge risk fight. I think he would fancy the Gervonta Davis fight. I think he's got a great chance in that fight. I think he would love the Ryan Garcia fight. I'm not sure how he feels about Regis Prograis. That's a great, tough fight, but Devin's capable of winning or being competitive in most of those fights, so he's got a big future. He has just beaten Vasil Lomachenko. Whether you think the fight was close or not, he has a big future, so you need to give him the respect at the same time.
Rolly has his heart set on a Ryan Garcia fight or a Gervonta Davis rematch. I'm not sure that he's receptive to boxing Devin Haney. I'm not sure he even has the liberty to do that because the WBA says he's got to fight O'Hara Davies next.
O'Hara is his mandatory challenger, and we'll see what happens with that. So Rolly's off the table, I think, at least for now.
Hearn mentioned Shakur Stevenson.
But it's just like Eddie Hearn said. That's a high-risk, low-reward fight right now. That fight right now isn't worth right now what it could be worth later on, so I don't think the Haney people are that receptive to it.
I don't think.
So what's Devin gonna do? Is he going to stay at 135, continue to boil down and make that weight, or is he going to move up to 140? And if he does, where does he go?
Where?
Who has the best options for Devin?
Hearn advises that he stay away from long-term commitments like a 5-fight deal, limited to 2 fights per deal.
Can you work that situation? Many are clamoring for a Vasil Lomachenko rematch because many are unconvinced. Many feel Loma won the fight.
Not Devin.
In spite of a vocal minority and all their disingenuous takes, their disingenuous arguments, most fight fans seem to agree. The right man didn't get the decision.
Loma should be undisputed.
Not Devin, so will Devin decide to run it back in order to silence the critics, silence the naysayers? The first fight is estimated to have done anywhere in between 150 to 200,000 pay-per-view buys. The second one could do more than that.
Because of the controversy.
It's unclear what Devin's going to do. It's murky. We'll see.
Yeah. Either way, you're gonna activate that mandatory and get at least one of them straps. So that's what's up.
Yeah. They say Lomachenko the number one at the weight now. They said that I'm not the number one no more. They moved me down to number 2.
No, that can't be right.
For sure.
How is that even possible?
I swear. That's what I said. I just seen that. Hold on, I'll read it to you.
No, I can't even believe this. That must be a mistake.
Vasily Lomachenko has retained his position as the number 1 contender in the new WBC lightweight rankings following his defeat to Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson is number 2, so if Haney moves up to super lightweight, the WBC will most likely order Lomachenko versus Shakur for the vacant belt. That just got put out there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That's cool, that's fine. You fight Lomachenko for that. That's fine. But that's weird. Like, how are you not the number 1 contender? Like, that's like he just had his shot and he lost.
That's the thing about the belts. I feel like that's why I be saying boxing like watered down, because it's like they do what they want. Like, it's not like no structure to like what they really got going. It's more so like, okay, we do as we want. Lomachenko, you want this spot, here you go. Oh, this person, you want this spot, here you go. Like, I think that's why. I think that they watering down the sport. But it's cool, you know. I mean, honestly, I feel like if he do move up, I think me and Lomachenko will be a perfect fight.
Find it hard to disagree with young Shakur that the sanctioning bodies do as they please. They do as they want.
No structure.
They are watering down the sport, though it does create a golden opportunity for Shakur Stevenson to get himself a signature fight that you just saw Devin in the ring with Vasyl Lomachenko, and many of you out there are not convinced that Devin won. Allow me.
Let me show you how it's done.
WBC has elected to place Vasyl Lomachenko as the number one contender in their ranked standings, and that leaves the door open for a Lomachenko versus Stevenson showdown. Shakur Stevenson, who said, Lomachenko, he's not done yet.
Not based on last weekend.
I thought he was done before he fought Devin. I thought he wasn't the same fighter no more, but then I watched him fight Devin, and I think Lomachenko is still a high-skill level fighter, and I would love to get in the ring with him.
I've said it more than once here on the channel. I don't think Lomachenko has it in the tank. Not for Shakur Stevenson. For Devin?
Yes, and I'm convinced that he beat Devin last Saturday. The judges don't fool me.
Loma won the fight.
That won't be the case with Shakur Stevenson. What I expected was that Loma would go ahead and give Devin his first professional loss, and Shakur would come along and retire him.
It's a different gravy.
If it was me, and I was in Haney's shoes, I would for sure run it back because I would want the public to judge me off that fight. I wouldn't want them to think that this dude beat me, or it could have been that, because that's going to travel with him for the rest of his career. If Floyd Mayweather never rematched Jose Luis Castillo, I think it would have traveled with Floyd throughout his career. He rematched Castillo and beat him convincingly and made it an easy fight. If it was me, I would want to show the public that it was just a little off night. Watch what I do to him now.
That's Shakur Stevenson's mindset. What's Devin's?
Does he want to run it back, or does he want to make off like a bandit? Right now, we're seeing what's up with Devin. Let's see if Devin wants to fight, said Stevenson. Father and trainer Bill Haney said nobody called his phone, so now we're going to start calling his phone, and let's see if they pick up the phone calls. It's a possibility that they do, and it's a possibility that they don't. I don't see them fighting me, but let's see.
Some might complain that Vasyl Lomachenko has been given a number one rank by way of the WBC, not realizing that leaves the door open for Lomachenko versus Stevenson.
Which is what I was expecting to happen beyond this past weekend's fight. I expected that Shakur Stevenson would end up fighting Loma afterwards. Here we are.
And I can't say that I'm upset about that.